Thinking of this week's Parashat Tissa, is thinking of the Egel. The Egel as the golden calf, and I think that everybody is, until today, traumatized by the gravity of this sin, the severity of this rush of Am Israel. And I think that this nekuda, this point of talking about the rush to sin, is really what connects this parasha to the Midda of the month, the Midda of Nahat. Because just think about it for a minute. If the Jewish people had just waited a few more hours, according to the Midrash, it was just a matter of hours, they would have seen Moshe Rabbeinu back from the mountain and everything would have worked out perfectly. But he couldn't wait. It was impossible. They were just in a rush. Now, for some reason, they didn't do anything yet. They went to Aharon HaKohen and they asked him, what do we do? And he tried to buy more time. He told them, Pariku nizmei hazahav asher be'oznei neshechem benechem uvnotechem. Just give me some jewelry, let's do something, let's make something out of them. And he was obviously trying to just buy time until Moshe Rabbeinu would come back from the mountain. But once again, the panic that they had pushed them to act even more quickly. And they came back to Aharon much earlier than he anticipated. And they told him, okay, there you go, then do something about it. And he realized that there was really nothing that he could have done. Now let's just think for a moment, the idea of the rush, the idea of the non-patience. This is exactly what Nahat is about. And I want to talk to you about a famous Ma'amar Hazal called Divrei Chachamim Benahat Nishma'im. The words of Hazal, the word of the Chachamim, Benahat Nishma'im, when they are said Benahat, in a calm note, in a calm tone, then they are Nishma'im, then they are listened to. And most of the time when we think of this Ma'amar Hazal, we think that it's a Midda, that it's a character on the Chacham himself, on the Rabbi, on the wise person. And it's true that when you speak to someone and you are all panicking, you are all excited even, they don't listen the same way. A calm voice is much more influential. But that's not the only thing that Hazal tell us. I believe that in that sentence, Divrei Chachamim Benahat Nishma'im, there is actually something else. It's not just referring to the Chacham, it's also referring to the Shomea, to the one who's listening. And I want to go back to Aharon. This is exactly what happened. Am Israel were in the mood of panic, in the mood of rush, in the mood of anti-Nahat. And because of that, even if Aharon HaKohen was the one they would always listen to, they would always consult with him, they trusted him, they loved him. But that didn't help. Why? Because they themselves were not in a Nahat mode. They couldn't hear, they couldn't follow. And that's exactly what Chachamim tell us. Divrei Chachamim Benahat Nishma'im. You want to hear what the Rabbi is telling you, you want to hear what the Torah is telling you. Benahat, be yourself in that state of mind called Menucha, called Nahat, and you'll be able to listen, to follow, and to accomplish. In the world that we live in today, very fairly called a world of rush. Everything is about speed. Technology takes us always to the next level of how fast can things be done. Nahat slips away from us many, many times. Yes, it is easier to do things, but it's much harder to find the peace of mind. When we think of travel speed for cars and airplanes, that doesn't make it easier to have access to all different places in the world in a quicker time. But instead, to miss the journey itself, to not enjoy it as we should. Tools of communication sometimes don't let us to actually communicate with the people that are physically with us. We are always somewhere else. We are always chatting, texting, videoing someone who's not here. And again, those tools and those facilities are not giving us the Nahat because we are constantly thinking of what's not around me, what's not with me. So let's reflect on that. Let's reflect on the Chet HaEgel, the terrible consequences of this rush, the terrible outcomes that can come from someone who even would be asking a question to the Rabbi, to the Chacham, would unfortunately not be able to hear the answer. He should be listening. And may Hashem bless us with a Midda of Nahat, so that we will find the peace of mind in our lives and make the right decisions in everything that we undertake. Shabbat Shalom U'Borach.